Welcome to QRS tutorial, how a checklist is organized. Checklist, templates, and permatasks are all organized and broken down in the same manner. If you're not sure on how they work, you can also go to your welcome menu, choose the Getting Started feature, and if you come down here to how a checklist is organized, you can clearly see how they describe all the functions, but I'm going to show you how all these work by creating some checklists. So to do that, we'll go up to Crids with the drop-down menu, choose Create a Crid, and just for this purpose, we'll use HomeWatch. Residential, we'll choose Dan as our client. We'll choose this address. We'll give this one a name. Checklist organized. And we'll give this one here a half an hour just for this purpose. Now remember, building a CRID is a three-phase template. We can come in, hit next, and the next step is to choose your templates. For this purpose, we have the opportunity to choose or not, but we're going to go to next. We're going to start right from scratch. We're going to create a CRID. So the very first thing you want to do is click and create a new group. And this is a group heading. So a group is a parent category that consists of all preceding related subcategories. A typical example of a group would be, basement, exterior walls, or second floor. So for here, what we're going to do is we're going to call this home exterior. And remember to check the little checkbox. Now on home exterior, we want to break it down into possibly two subcategories. So first, what we'll do is we'll show you what the icons are. So this is a preview. This little eyeball here, you can, if you hover your mouse over, it'll tell you what it is, and it's to preview this group once you get it built. This is to expand and this group and shrink it, and I'll show you that in a little bit once we get some questions. This is create a subgroup within a group. The next is provide an instruction, which I'll show you, and question. And if you make a mistake, you can delete this group if you feel that way. All right, so now first thing we want to do is I think we're going to create two subgroups. So we'll click subgroup twice on the home exterior line, and that adds two new groups. And I think what we're going to do is break it down into roof. Remember to check the little box. And also we're going to have exterior walls, doors, and windows. So now we've created two subheadings within that home exterior group. Now the next step is now we want to add questions. So we come over here, and the first thing we do is click the Q, and that adds a question. And then what we do is we double click in there. Now we want to change that question, put our own wording in, is the roof okay? Question mark. That's it. You click the box. Now the question is a conditional question. This is how our system is set up. So the next thing you do is you come over here and you want to say, is this a yes condition? So is the roof okay? If you answer yes, no, that's not the one we want. We want them to trigger a comment and a photo. So if we answer no, then we want a photo, and we also want a comment. Now remember, you can edit these in here. So you can say, for example, I can add in here, please explain in detail what the problem is. And then same with add a photo. I can say, please add a photo of the problem. Check mark. Now, we've just created a conditional question. So let's go in and have a preview of how that works. So we hit the preview this group, and here's our preview. So this is how it's going to look on your mobile device. Is the roof okay? And if we answer yes, nothing happens. If we answer no, it's going to prompt us for a comment, and it's also going to ask for photos. Remember that comments are compulsory. If there's a comment requested, you have to put a comment in, but photos are always optional. So this is a quick preview of our questions. So we can keep doing this as we build the checklist. So next is we have an option here to add an instruction to this subgroup. And we can do that in one of two ways. We can add the instruction to the subgroup. So for example, I'm going to add it into the question. So we add an instruction in here and we say, please take photos of the roof. All right, so we check that off, and now let's go back and do our preview. So now we go up to the preview. Is the roof okay? We check yes, then we move on to the next question. There's no sense wasting time here if everything's okay. But if we say no, obviously we found an issue, and it tells us, please take photos of the roof. Okay, we have to do that. We have to acknowledge it. Then we can put in our comments and choose, and then we would choose our photo file on our mobile device and add photo. So now we've added a question. Now we've added an instruction into that question. Now we want to add, we have two options here. We can add more questions, or we can add a question within a question. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I want to, if there's something wrong, I'm going to add another question within this question. So my question is the roof okay? And then I'm going to ask, if the roof's not okay, is the chimney okay? And then I'm going to put in here, if you answer no, again, I want a comment and I want a photo. So let's go ahead and preview this again. So is the roof okay? Yes. Again, nothing happens. We move on. If I answer no, it says, please take photos of the roof. Okay, I acknowledge it. I put the details in, and now I have another question in here that's embedded that says, is the chimney okay? And if I say yes, nothing happens. But if I say no, it's going to prompt me for questions, detailed. Now remember, the only way to see this embedded question is to answer the conditional question in the primary question. So in other words, if I hit yes, you'll never see that. But if I hit no, it's going to show this question, and then I have to answer it accordingly. So now that we've done this for the roof, we can add another question. So we add another question, and it's how you word it is how the conditional questions work. So what we're going to do here is ask, are there any issues with the doors or windows? So it's how you ask the question. So now I check that box. I come over here, and if there are issues, I'm answering yes to this question, and I want a photo and a comment. So now let's check it out, and we'll do a preview. Is the roof okay? Yeah, we say yes. We move on. Walls, doors, and windows checked. Yep. If we say no, it's prompting us for a photo or comment. But the last question, it's how you word it. Are there any issues with the doors or windows? If I say no, nothing happens. But if I say yes, then it prompts me to open it up and give a comment and a photo. That's how your functions work. Instructions, you can add them at any time. For example, I can put an instruction in at the very top above everything. I can put in here, a note, check and collect mail, and I acknowledge that. That's the first thing that you're going to ask the person to do. It doesn't have to be attached to the roof or the home. It has to be an instruction. So, and you can also add comments and photos to an instruction, but they're not always, you're not really prompting somebody unless you're asking a question in that. So let's review how it looks now. So check and collect mail, that's the first thing you do when you arrive on the site. The next thing is roof, then you go through your questions and move on. Now the idea of our system is if everything's okay, you can zip through the report. If not, you find an issue, that's when you focus on it. So is the roof okay? Yeah, move on. Walls and doors and windows checked? Yeah, move on. Are there any issues with the doors? No, but if I say yes, it makes me put in some details, add a photo, and then I move on to the next question. So let's look at our different, now we have exterior walls, doors. I go, why did I put that in here when I can just move this down and put it into there? I kind of messed up, so no problem. I'm going to move that into exterior doors and walls. Let's go back up and preview what we did. So you can move your questions around at any time. So here you see you have your subheading roof. Before you get there in your main group, check and collect mail. Yeah, I did that. Roof, is the roof okay? Yeah, move on. Exterior walls, doors, and windows. Are there any issues? Yeah, we found an issue. What is it? Add a photo. Walls, doors, and windows checked. Yeah, move on. So you have the option to move these around in the order you want. You can add an instruction. You can embed questions within questions. And you can add instructions on their own, you can add questions anywhere, and you can move your questions around. So you have conditional answers that you can choose, yes, no, and not applicable. And remember, you can add a photo or comment to a question or a instruction, and you can embed questions within a question. I hope this quick tutorial has been helpful to show you how to use the how a checklist is organized. So we've covered creating a group, subgroup, creating a question, conditional questions and how they work, and using instructions. So thank you for choosing QRIDit HomeWatch edition from QRS. We'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where all these videos go, and also they'll be embedded within the software. And like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We'd sure appreciate that. So thank you for choosing QRIDit.